Hey everybody, I'm Lewis Porter Jr. and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is on a video I saw that I'm going to make some comments on that I thought was interesting. It's an older one, about 6 months old, and it's called The Problem with Comic Book Marketing, Comics by Perch. So I'm not familiar with Perch. I've seen only a couple videos now of his, and I had some questions. And this one kind of popped to me because this is one of those ones of he asked a very interesting question at the beginning, and then I started laughing about the question he asked and said, well, okay, let's just talk about it because this sounds ridiculous. Mr. Perch, I know he's male, I'm assuming Mr. Perch, or just Perch, was talking about why DC was so much better with their marketing compared to Marvel. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure that one out, and he was talking about how, DC has these characters and they're very well known and they're very well respected, and the first thing that popped in my mind is the characters are like 80 if not 90 years old now. So when you've been around for 90 years, you don't have to do a lot of the hard marketing that other younger companies, even Marvel at 60, has to do. And let's be honest, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman are icons now. They're not even superheroes. They're icons of people with capes and what people can do. They are beyond what you think about with superheroes. I mean, they just are. I mean, DC has always been the gods, and Marvel's been, mortals with some cool powers. But DC, all these are godlike characters. I mean, Superman is a godlike character. Wonder Woman is a godlike character. And Batman does things that are godly amazing for a human being who is supposed to just be a human being, but like, oh, I'm doing this amazing stuff, don't worry about it, and I got $1 billion, so I'm okay. So I just thought it was just kind of funny that he put this up there and was just talking about the marketing, and he talked about like how Marvel tries to, his words, not mine, pander to people to get people to read new books. And I always think it's funny, and this is all my opinion. You can take it like it is. I just call things out and people out as I see them. I don't understand how people who are comic book collectors seem to have the shortest memories in the world for stuff. He's talking about, oh, look at this marketing. It's not so good. They really don't support these books. They put a big splash, and then they pull back to see what happens. And it's like, they've been doing that forever. If you want me to go with one of my favorite ones of that, Power Man and Iron Fist. When the two characters joined the book, when it was Power Man's book by himself, and 48, 49, 50, we would change to Power Man and Iron Fist, they then spent the next, I guess, couple months pushing the team, Power Man, Iron Fist, Power Man, Iron Fist, Power Man, Iron Fist, hoping that people would cross over to get it. And some people did, and I'm sure the sales did okay, because the book lasted another 75 issues, so the sales must have been good enough. And I know I found out the book in the 80s issues, the 80s, not 80s a year, but 80s issues, and read it continually all the way to the end to 125. And, there wasn't a lot of marketing at the beginning because they're trying to get people interested. And they saw that people were interested in buying or they didn't. It's not rocket science. It's pretty simple, actually. So to have this attitude of, I can't believe Marvel doesn't do more marketing. And it's like, my favorite bit of marketing, especially to the community of fans of comics, usually is the second you market anything to them, they hate it. And it doesn't matter if it's going to be good or bad, they hate it. Change is bad for fans of comics. Always has been, always will be. Let's take one of my favorite books of all time that had one of the worst marketing ideas when I first saw it, but then it came out to be brilliant. The Young Avengers. I mean the first one. The first series, the first one that was done, that was a great, great book. But looking at the ads for it, they set it up to get fans angry. And it was like, it was 4 little pictures, and it was the 4 main characters. Let me see if I can get this right in my head. It was Hulkling, Asgardian, Iron Lad, and Patriot. And you were like, what? Who? What is a stupid book they're doing? Oh my! And there was so much backlash on this book, including myself. Thought this was the dumbest idea I ever thought. Like, this sounds stupid. What are they doing? What are they trying to do? Avengers as sidekicks? Oh, this is so stupid. Da da da. And this was leading up to the book. And this is, we got the pictures out. It's probably like 4 months before the book came out. And it's just, so you had 4 months just to rip it to shreds. And they did marketing. We didn't do like a ton, but they did marketing. And the book came out. And you read the first issue. And it was like, oh, that was amazing. And then the second issue. And it kept getting better and better and better. And they figured that part out. They were very smart about that. And doing the ad they did got people talking about it. And that's like the most important thing you can do about a project, is get people talking about the project and getting people interested to to most likely and possibly give you money to do it. I mean, DC, let's be honest. If you put Batman in a book, it's going to sell. You could do a Batman Sings the Blues. Plop, it's going to sell. It just is, because Batman's that type of character. Now, I'm of the feeling that Batman, while the important character, a good writer needs to go with him to help the story get better. Now, you can put on a bad writer, and they have, and the stories have been not good. But once again, it's Batman. So he could take a lot of bad stories before anyone would stop buying Batman. I mean, let's be honest. Batman has a fan base that loves his books no matter what. And when you have characters like that, it doesn't matter what writer you put on it. It's going to sell. Sometimes they'll sell more. Sometimes they'll sell less. But it's really not going to affect the character itself. But if you take a character who's, a Class D character, I'll tell you my favorite Class D character, Jack of Hearts from Marvel. If you know who Jack of Hearts is, first of all, amazing. And second of all, most people don't know who he is, don't know he's had a limited series, don't know really much about him. And to promote him is very difficult. You have to be a fan of what he's about and his powers. But if you don't know this stuff, there's no excitement. But if you put a big name on there, if Alan Moore was going to write Jack of Hearts, I'm willing to bet your bottom dollar that all these people will be like, ooh, Jack of Hearts, who's that? I've always wanted to know about him. And that's what happens, because the writer, and sometimes the artist, gets the interest for people to come out. Marvel is not grabbing all the great names of artists they used to. I have not seen this generation's Jim Lee yet. I have seen this generation's Rob Liefeld, but I haven't seen this generation's Jim Lee. Where's this generation's George Perez? Where's this generation's John Byrne? Where are these guys whose art carry the book along so well with the story? Well, I guess Hickman has done a little of that. Yeah, Powers of X, I did like that, the art with that. But that's, but once again, I had to think about that. It wasn't like, and I can't remember the artist. I mean, is that Pepe Larraz? Is that I don't think that's how you pronounce his name. But I know that he's done some art that I like, but I haven't seen him as the big name to push. He's not the guy they push. He's not the Jim Lee. Where is the Jim Lee? Where is the Jim Lee of this generation? Jim Lee was a 90s guy. Perez was an 80s guy. Burns was an 80s guy. Where are the 2000s guys? Where's the 2010s guys? Where's the 2020s guys? Where are the names that are going to lead the comic book industry with artistic ability into the future? Where are these people? Where's the marketing for them? But once again, we don't do that. We market the characters, because the characters are more important than the writers. But are they? I mean, yes and no. You need them both. They need to work in a synergy. It has to work together. And, watching this video, I'm just like, oh my God. And the way he talks about some of the stuff, and this irks me as a comic book fan, it's very much it's like, he has a mindset of, well, if you make characters, people will buy them because people like certain characters. Look, Black Panther has failed multiple times as a long-term book because there's not a big enough fan base for him. Even though $1 billion was spent on the movie, there isn't a big enough comic book fan base for them, because Black Panther, at its core, is a character that people who might be of Caucasian persuasion have a problem identifying with, because it doesn't look like them. There was a video done by Dwayne McDuffie talking about how characters felt about black characters compared to white characters. And one of the things he talked about, and I thought this was kind of brilliant. If I can find it, I'm going to link it in the bottom. But it's a great video. But he talked about how people are so hyper-rational when it comes to black superheroes doing things that white superheroes can do. Like Batman can sneak up behind somebody. Ooh, isn't that cool? Da, da, da. But if the Black Panther done that, well, it's not really possible because of this. And it's like, it's not even racism. It's something else. It's like they're not capable or willing to accept that a character who doesn't look like them could do things as well and better than they could. And that fundamentally messes with their, I don't know, I know. So, that's why. That's why Batman to me is ridiculous. Batman is the perfect character. He does everything great. He's super smart. He's got all the money. He's got all this technology. But it's like, no, he's still just a human being. He's the biggest, toughest human being who can do everything. So it's like, where's the excitement in the character? I don't get that. That's just me. And if you really want to market to people, you find them in their niches and find how you get those niches to get people interested. If I was going to do a comic book, I would find a character that I found interesting and find you know what? If I was going to market a comic book, I would find someone who's passionate about the thing they're looking to write and draw. Find the ones that are passionate. People who are passionate about writing certain things do amazing things. Let's keep it real. When they're passionate about something, it's going to be better than we ever imagined because they love the character as much as we do. Great example. Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns' run on Flash, and I mean the first run. The first one was amazing. He took a character that Mark Waid had taken to a point and said, Mark says, here's the definitive character. This is everything you know about the character. This is everything great. We're going to make him great. Boom. And Waid, masterpiece. Then Jeff Johns got in the book and showed you what he liked about the book. And one of the things he liked about the books were the rogues. And he expanded their role and expanded the way that made them cool. And that in turn made the main character of the Flash cool, Wally West. And it just got better. I mean, it's just like, woo, that's what you do. You get people who love the thing and make it better. But that doesn't happen a lot. A lot of times books are assigned to people because they want to do it. Or they need a name to it. They say, hey, we want you to write this great book. Do you want to write it? Sure, it's a popular book. I'll get paid very well and get the exposure. Yay! Not, oh my God, I've always wanted to do a Howard the Duck book. I have a great idea to work with and it'd be great to do. You better find the men and women who are passionate about doing the characters they're writing about. If they're passionate about the character, the passion comes through. I mean, this ain't rocket science. And, I was just kind of surprised watching this video and seeing some of the stuff. And I was just like, and this was, this is from August. This is from August of last year, of course. And it was just very much the thing I've heard from people. Oh, if you want to make better books, you need to get the fan base to love it, and the fan base doesn't love it. Well, the fan base only loves this thing. If it falls out of that, I don't want to, no. And you need to get new fans. You need to get new fans, so you need to develop new things. You got to figure out different ways to get them. You got to tell better stories. You got to tell different stories. I'll tell you about my own personal awakening reckoning. When Miles Morales came as a character, I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Why do I need Miles Morales? Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And I was like that for years. I mean, from his original concept until the Into the Spider-Verse movie came out. After watching that and looking at that entire movie, I totally understood why Miles Morales was important now. Peter Parker is my Spider-Man. I grew up on Peter Parker. It's from my generation. I totally get that. Peter is that for me. Peter is not that for young kids. Kids who were born in, let's just say 2000 and up. Peter Parker doesn't make sense to them. And he shouldn't, because he isn't like their typical friends. He doesn't have the same typical problems. But Miles Morales has those problems. Miles Morales is a mixed kid. He is black and Dominican. And there's issues between that. And he lives in New York City. And his friends are different races. And it's a multicultural place. It's a multicultural book. And that's the way it should be. And that makes sense. And is it a good thing? Of course. Now, do I love Peter Parker? Of course I do. I'm a comic book fan. Do I like Miles Morales now? Yes, I totally like Miles 110% more just because of that movie. I think they did everything you can imagine to make the character the right kind of character. Even for an old guy to me go, oh, I get it. Nah, I totally get it. All right, very cool. See, and that's something that needs to be done. That's something that needs to be done more often in the marketing, is to forget about us old guys. We're old, we're decrepit, we don't matter. Sorry. You want to do new characters, you want to do classic characters, think about the new people. Think about getting them in. We're old guys. If it's a good idea and it makes sense, we're going to like it. Bucky came back from the dead. You never bring Bucky back. That's one of the rules. They brought him back perfectly well and how they made sense. Oh, love it. Let's go with it. So well, it got into the MCU. That's how well it's done. And now Bucky and Falcon have their own TV show coming up. So think about it. If you're going to do good marketing, think about how to get people interested in the actual thing we're actually trying to sell them. And what we're trying to sell them is entertainment and a little bit of wish fulfillment. Because any superhero you see, you want to see yourself in that hero. When I look at Captain America, I want to see myself in Captain America. When I look at the Falcon, I want to see myself in the Falcon. When I look in the correct Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, because that's the one I love, boom, I want to see that. When I look in Black Panther, I want to see that. When I look in Wonder Man, I want to see that. When I look in The Beast, I want to see that. That's what's important. And if you want to do identity politics, which a lot of people don't want to talk about, because they're like, oh, I think it's so stupid to do that. No, man, because let's keep it real. A lot of guys in this industry, still to this day, are white males of a certain age that are only looking at other white males to do stuff with. If you're really serious about being a fan of this, broaden your horizons. And don't just say that like, oh yeah, we broaden our horizons. I got a black friend. No, not like that. Buy people's content that do not look like you. If the content you're buying, everyone in that book looks like you, put that book down. Buy something, spend, say $10 for 1 week, just $10. And find a book where people who are on the book, the majority, so out of 6 people, let's say 3. I'll give it 3 people have to be people who don't look like you, and read their book and try it out. And maybe you might find something new to read that might be interesting. Maybe a new comic that you may not have seen. And if you get to a point where like, well, I can't find anybody who does that, that's a problem. And think about that. If you can't find a book where 50% of the people on the book do not look like you might have a problem. I know when I go look at books, I see those books. They're everywhere. But if you look and you can't find them, then maybe something's wrong. I'm getting out of here. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Hey, thank you for checking out my channel. Do me a favor, check out my other videos, and if you like what you see, subscribe.